Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. And Mo, I want to thank you for joining me here today. Do you care to introduce yourself to the audience for those who don't know who you are or what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Mo Abbas, and I'm the CEO and founder of Sales Ask, where we help you make more sales through virtual ride-alongs and our AI-powered sales tools. I've been in the home service industry pretty much my whole life. Started when I was 19, going my first home service company, and grew that to $20 million in sales. I have another one as well, does $10 million in sales, and we decided to build Sales Ask and help other home service companies grow their revenues.
Excellent. Well, excited to have you on the show today. The buzzword around the industry as it pertains to sales is always an interesting one, and figuring out the different avenues and just the nuance of our industry and how it works and operates. And it was kind of exciting for the first be at the first year, at the Shed Expo, where we kind of had like a sales related event, that was kind of focused on that. So it's definitely something that the industry, I think, strives to learn more about. So now, do you work in the industry? How'd you find the shed industry? First of all, you're in the home service industry, and sheds just kind of ends up falling into that market. But tell me your story, man.
Yeah. I mean, we have a bunch of clients that use our product that are in the shed industry. Ryan Hinton at Hinton Builders, and we're chatting with All Rich Lifestyle as well, which is one of the players in the industry. And that's how we got connected as well. Some of our clients, a lot of mutual clients who use our product and they love it, they find value in it. Thought it'd be wise for us to get on this podcast, and here we are. I started the company a few years ago now. This is not my first technology company, but it is the marriage of my home service experience with technology. A couple of years ago, something happened in the technology world, which has been groundbreaking and is just really in its infancy. And that was the birth of AI, where language models for the first time became extremely useful and competent. And they were on the brink of passing the Turing test, where they were indistinguishable from humans. And this opened up a whole new world of opportunity for companies like us, which utilize these large language models. And what's particularly interesting about large language models is, people talk about AI all the time, AI. But the real AI that's been, that is the most advanced are these language models, right? When we communicate as humans, when we think as humans, a lot of that thought is related to, words and putting those words together to form, different concepts. And that's what these systems are really good at doing. And they're getting advanced at a rate that's incredible. A lot of people believe that this is going to be the most significant advancement in the history of humanity, okay? Bigger than the internet, bigger than mobile phones, because it's going to allow our consciousness to expand. Like when you look at the internet, what the benefit of there is it allowed your reach to expand, right? Like you can just reach a lot more people. Same with mobile phones. It didn't amplify your intelligence. But when you look at AI, you're going to be connected to a pretty much a brain that can think, that is super, super powerful. Now, for us, it was very, very interesting because, I've been running sales teams my whole life. Okay. This is what I've been doing for 20 years in home services and tech companies now. And when you look at sales, it is a conversation, essentially. That's what it is. It's words, it's a language. So when you combine these large language models, these AI models, with sales, you have the most useful combination of the application of AI out there right now. And this is what we're seeing. Okay. It's starting out with, and just to give you guys a bit of background of what our product does and, how it leverages AI and how this all works is the first big innovation was just turning speech to text, right? When you look at the in sales. So right now, there's three ways that you can grow your company. The first way is you could get more leads. Okay. That's the first way. The second way is you can convert more leads. That's sales now. It goes from marketing to sales. And then the third way is you can convert those leads for more money, so higher ticket items. Now, when you are looking to increase your revenues as a shed company, your clients are meeting your sales team. Typically, it's an in-person meeting, and you don't know what's happening between clients and reps, right? So you could imagine you're generating these leads, you're paying all this money, and you're giving these precious, valuable leads to your sales team. They're going to meet these clients. And then they come back to you and they tell you, yeah, this client's going to sign, this client's going to sign. The client never ends up signing. But then another one does, and you really just don't know what's happening between clients and sales reps. So what we've done is we have a mobile app that will listen to the conversation that your reps have with clients and allow you to coach them virtually. So instead of doing a physical ride along where you as the owner or manager goes with your reps and sits there and listens and coaches them, instead of doing that, you're able to do it remotely asynchronously. So right away, you have 10x to leverage. All right, cool. The AI will one of the AIs will convert the speech to text, which then can be analyzed. Okay, valuable. But then it's, you have to look a little bit deeper than that. And the second problem that we help solve is, so the first problem is the physical ride along. You don't have to go physically. You can now coach your team remotely. The second problem is you're super busy and you can't coach 100% of your reps. Like, if you have a team of 5, 10, 15, 20 reps who are out there talking to clients, that could be like dozens of meetings a day. And you have a lot of things to do. So what we have developed is an AI coach. And this is where the language models start really becoming more useful. There is an AI coach that could be customized to your sales process or any sales process. And it will listen to the conversation that your reps have. And it will check to make sure that your process is being followed. And if it's not, it will coach your reps for you. So you have an AI coach in your pocket. 100% of your meetings can now get coaching. Now, if you want to grow your business, you have to invest in your people and your process. You have to build a coaching culture, a culture of self-improvement, right? So how are you going to do that? You're going to have to get tools and you have to implement these systems. So this AI coach gives you 100% coverage on all of your meetings that you have with clients. And it's super, super valuable. And it's incredibly powerful, right? Like you could ask open-ended questions like, hey, what are the objections that the client listed? Did my sales rep offer the extended warranty? Did my sales rep set the next steps? What date is the next meeting that was specified? What was the budget that the client had? Did they ask the client if where they parked was okay? And the AI will do all the heavy lifting for you on every single meeting. So we've built that, okay? But let's go back to, I'm a busy manager, okay? I love that I can now have access and transparency to all of my conversations and I can see where I'm losing money. Great. And I love that my reps will get 100% coaching on all of their meetings. Great. But I don't have time to go in there and check all of these meetings.
This is James Price of Shed Pro on faith and business. Faith and business, those terms can invoke deep emotions and passions in people. I've heard some say business and religion shouldn't mix. You can't be truly faithful in business. Religion is for Sunday, Monday is for work, and still others that say we can't do good business without faith. Let's rethink Jesus. The Gospels don't paint a picture of a stained glass church image of Jesus, but instead, he appears as a workplace minister. Oz Hillman illustrated this idea best with the following numbers. Out of the 132 public appearances of Jesus, 122 were in the marketplace. Of 52 parables Jesus told, 45 had a workplace context. Of 40 miracles in the book of Acts, 39 were in the marketplace. The world revolves around the marketplace, and Jesus knew that. People learn values and gain satisfaction in the marketplace. Faith in Business meets people in their comfort zone to impart godly values and godly satisfaction. So if we rethink Jesus, faith and business should naturally mix. This is James Price. Thanks for listening.
So we have a different AI that will listen to all of these conversations. Okay. And this is where the latest and greatest is in these large language models. This is where they are today. The most advanced you're going to find them today. It will listen to all of these meetings, 100 meetings that happen today, or whatever many meetings happen. And it will identify the worst meetings and the best meetings. It'll list them for you. It'll tell you why this meeting is likely to close, why this meeting is likely not to be closed. And then we send you a daily email with that summary. Okay. That is where AI is today. But where is it going tomorrow? Tomorrow, what's going to happen is it'll listen to all of the conversations that you've had in your organization forever, since day one, since you started recording these conversations. And then it'll develop a client profile that will go out and have these sales agents that are AI agents that sell the client based on the conversation they had with your team. Because all of the information about that client is in the conversation that your reps had with them. Okay. So when they go and they meet them, they get all the information. The AI will learn all of that, and it'll start sending the client emails. It'll surface insights. Oh, today is the client's birthday. They mentioned that they're actually, interested in getting a new shed in the fall. It's now the first day of fall. You should follow up with this client. It's almost like an automated CRM in a way, mixed with a sales agent that reps are going to have. Okay, this is where things are going, and they're getting more and more powerful. Now, the key to all this is you need to start understanding what's happening with this technology. This is like, the internet came out and you were late to build a website. Meanwhile, your competitors built these massive companies only because they got there first. Right? It's not like they weren't a better company than you. They just took advantage of technology a little quicker than you did, right? So this is why I like to educate everyone on what's happening in the AI world. And look, we do it for sales. There's a lot more than just sales happening. I know in marketing, there's a lot of things happening in AI. And soon it's going to transcend outside of software into robotics as well. But, we're not quite there yet. And it's exciting. Like, we're seeing companies add. I'll give you a story. Like, we had a company that we were working with, and they had one of their agents that was doing on average $600 per visit. Okay, it was a pest control company, and then another agent was doing half of that. Okay, now they had 3 agents that were doing about $300 and one that was doing $600. The difference of that is $1.2 million a year. They're both taking the same leads. They're both going to the same kind of clients. One of them is making an extra $300,000 per year in doing the exact same thing for the company, right? So imagine they could take that winning strategy and they could replicate that to their other reps and help those other reps, right?
I think that's definitely so much of what, the task of a sales manager is often trying to find. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard, but, like a lot of the books I like to read and different just seminars you attend, you hear the consistent message that, never take your best salesperson and make them your sales manager. Why? Because they want to keep selling, right? Like the consistency of trying to find that top producing sales personality, in a dealer network where you might have 20 independent shed lots or 300 independent shed lots or 2 independent shed lots. You want to find out what's working. And to me, part of a lot of what you're saying sounds like, it's the consistency that the human mind can no longer bear. Because mental notes are dangerous, right? I'll remember that. I'll do that. They said the fall, got it. We'll reach back out in the fall. You have no CRM system. You have no follow-up system. You don't even have the original CRM of pen and paper where you're writing this down. You'll just remember it, right? You'll just remember it. And that's the failure of the limitations of the human mind. And you're pulling on the consistency that AI can pull from these conversations. You can take the most successful experiences and duplicate them and say, hey, you see why this was successful? Now let's take a look at the language and let's figure out what they did, the kind of different things that help make them successful in that moment. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's just one part of it, right? Like you can generate notes and action items, anything that was spoken in the conversation, and it'll do a better job than any rep will. Like when I look at the notes that's generated from sales asks, it's way better than anything I would have taken myself, right? It's like it identifies the client's location, it gives you, information that they mentioned they went to this school or whatever it may be. Like that's useful for you. We call it surfacing sales insights, all right? Because these are insights that are going to help you sell ultimately. And AI action items and notes are great, but what's even better is when the AI is intelligent enough to remind you of these things at the right time, the right information at the right time to get the client over the line, right? Not only is it AI action items and notes, it could also help you specify the exact things that are preventing the client from buying. A lot of time when reps are talking with clients, they're not listening to the objections. The client's saying something and they're so busy in their pitch, they don't understand, they're not listening to why this client's not buying. So they leave and they think they did a great job because, they followed some pitch, but they didn't get the sale. And the AI will tell them, hey, the client's main objections were these. These are what they're really interested in. This is the pain point. And if it's a shed, maybe they're having trouble with some storage. Maybe they have a new toy they want to, put in the backyard or some new equipment that they bought. And if your reps are not listening to those pain points and like understanding maybe the weather of that location or the budget of that or the sizing that they had in their backyard, or there was one I heard where the guy really wanted a certain size of window and it was a deal breaker for him, and the rep never acknowledged this. They just went into their normal, this is what we do, this is our sizing. And I was like, you're gonna lose the sale. This person wants a window. This is what you need to be addressing in this meeting right here. And I'll tell you what, they did lose that sale, right? But with sales ask, they have a chance to correct that behavior going forward, right? Also, it drives managers and owners crazy when they don't know why this particular person is outselling the other person, right? So I had one client who they had a rep, been in the company for 10 years. And I guess some things happened and he started missing his targets, and the owner brings him to this office and starts coaching him. Hey man, like you're missing your targets. Like we gotta step it up. I think that's the most favorite statement of sales managers. We got to step it up.
Let's go to the next level. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
their favorite thing to say. And the rep takes this. He's like, yeah, you're right. Like, first maybe they're a little defensive, and then they're like, you know what, you're right. I'm gonna step it up. And this sales rep stayed late, worked on weekends, did his absolute best, and got no difference in his sales. And the manager would go and like get angry at him. Your job was on the line, and I need you to do this. And like, we're going to miss revenue, and it's going to be bad for you, or you're going to make more money, or there's a bonus fee. He tried everything. Now, the problem was that he didn't know what specific coaching he needed to be doing. It's like you have a basketball team and you're losing, and you're trying to motivate your players, to play better. And like, I need you to play better, and you to play harder. But it's like, no, you have a bad matchup. Like if you look at the matchup, you're putting your smallest guy on their biggest guy, and he's getting like 40 points. All you have to do is switch the defensive position. You're going to stop that from happening. But they don't have any vision. They don't see what's happening in those conversations, right? So they're giving this generic coaching, and then they're getting frustrated. And it's creating a bad relationship between the sales rep and the management. Because the management is like, okay. So what happened at that point is the owner finally is like, he hears about sales ask, he implements sales ask. Within the first couple of conversations, he was able to identify exactly why this rep was missing the mark. Okay, they were not asking the client to come to the next step into the office and review the designs. Okay, they were not asking for a commitment in the client. They were not listening to the specific needs of that client. At that point, the manager brings the rep in and is able to say, hey, in this section of the conversation, you left the client meeting and there was no next step. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you meet a client, you're going to ask them, and you'll be very explicit. Can you come in the next day or the next 2 days? And do not leave the meeting until you have a definitive answer of when they can come into the office. And you know what? He did exactly that. He only coached them on that one thing. Just that one thing. And within a month, that rep tripled his sales, right? So this is what happens when you could see the game happen in front of you. And then you're able to coach your people on the specific areas that they need.
Hey listeners, we all know how important a strong reputation is in today's market. You can't just rely on word of mouth anymore. Did you know that 96% of consumers check out online Google reviews before making a purchase? The companies with the highest ratings, most reviews, and frequent testimonials are the ones winning more business. That's where Liftify comes in. They've developed an innovative solution that automates the process of getting your customers to leave Google reviews. For companies like True Point Backyard Builders and Newhouse Outdoors, they've quadrupled the number of reviews and generated more web traffic, leads, and true net new jobs, all by improving their online reputation. Want to boost your online reputation? Give them a call at 463-217-0032 or visit liftify.com to learn more. Mention the Shed Geek for a special offer.
I find that most people who end up in sales fall into sales, right? Like it may be changing, that landscape may be changing a little bit now, where you hear about even not just trainings or big, events and expos that you can attend, but even more of a educational segment that's dedicated to the sales professional. But typically speaking, most people I know that fell into sales, including myself, that's not exactly what you set out to do. My journey started with customer service, and then you begin to develop this niche where you understand sales a little bit more. But I've never run into, for the most part, folks who they're driven by commission, for instance, maybe on their sales. They want to do a good job. They just don't know how to get better at times. No one wants to do a bad job in sales because their commission, their livelihood is on the line. It's like you said, when a boss comes in and says, you're going to have to do more. What does that mean? Work later hours? Like do more of what's not working? Like I've got to change something inside of me. And if you don't have the right person, or in this case, the right technology to identify that deficiency, how can you really change the most obvious thing that's stopping you from stepping up, from going to that next level, right, Mo? Like, how do they get there without having a direct avenue to what the problem is that's stopping them from getting there?
Look, we alluded to this earlier, where there's only 3 ways you're going to grow your business. And every single business that we deal with, is one that wants to grow. They want to solve a problem or they want to grow their business. Only three ways. You get more leads, costs you a lot of money to do that as well, but you're kind of wasting those leads if they're not converting them, or if they're leaving money on the table when they do convert them, right? So, and a common rebuttal that we get is like, look, people are busy. They don't want to implement a new technology, right? But then the question is, what's more important to the company than impacting revenue? Isn't that kind of the point of having a business, is to grow it and make more revenue? The other thing is like, if you were going to go and increase your output, let's just say you want to get 8% more output out of your company. Okay. That's 1 month more of productivity. That doing the exact same as you are right now, changing nothing, you'd have to put 170 hours per person in your company to get 8% more, right? But what if you could just improve 8% on your conversion rates? You wouldn't have to spend a month of salary on that person to get that same kind of ROI, right? Another thing is what we find is when people commit to sales ask, they, by that commitment, now they're forcing themselves to solve the problem. It's not like, I don't have time for this. It's okay, I don't have time for it, but I'm going to say, let's get started in like 2 weeks or a month or whatever, like whatever, call it within 4 weeks, within 1 to 4 weeks. That commitment forces them to be like, I actually have to solve this problem now, right? And then 3 months later, it's solved. So instead of it being solved in 3 months, or started, sorry, in 3 months, it's solved in 3 months. And there's a huge difference that we've noticed with companies that move fast versus companies that move slow. We like to make it really easy. So a lot of the product has out-of-the-box templates that people could use. So they can just get started within 30 minutes, right? And then we do weekly check-ins to make sure that everybody's getting success out of the product. So every week we're going to check in. The first onboarding is super easy, 30 minutes, boom, you're done, you're recording. That's it. The team is ready to go. One weekend, we look at the recordings, we see how it's going, we customize the AI coach, we customize maybe some of the topics as well, some of the other features of the product. And then we do a weekly check-in to see how that's going. But I mean, the main thing is like, imagine the internet just came out and you said you're too busy to build a website while all of your competitors moved online, right? And the AI is going to be bigger than the internet, right?
Yeah,
The other thing that
we're recognizing this just even in the marketing segment of what you're talking about. Sales has been a passion for mine, sort of in the shed industry, but it's been really nice to see some other folks come along and sort of take that by the horns. I mean, to me, there's never a lack of opportunity in terms of like creating new ideas, casting new vision, figuring out new things. There's only a hard time in implementing that, and that's where tools like AI come in and help you do that. But we found that on the marketing side, as well, generating those leads. One of the most frustrating things for us is, hey, you received 200 leads this week or this month or whatever their budget kind of allows for, but we noticed that you're not following up. That could show as in your mind as a direct result of our failure. Hey, you got me a bunch of leads, but nobody bought anything. And now we have to start asking about the sales process. We have to immediately, It's the first thing we do is we go into and we look and we say, well, this lead hasn't been touched. They haven't been called back yet. This lead hasn't been followed up on. I mean, of course, we do all the things. We set up automations in terms of like texting, email campaigns, drip campaigns, all the stuff, CRMs, where we get them to understand where we can even, I don't even think they're really understanding that you can use the benefit of technology even in your follow-up process. And the first thing we're going to get back is what, Mo? Like, that doesn't sound like me. Well, we take your language and we use that language to help set up these automations, which is essentially the same thing that you're attempting to do in the sales process, right? You're trying to take their natural language, figure out the things that are working best and utilize it to the best possible. Well, that's fake, Mo. That's fake. That's not really me. That works.
100%.
It works. Yeah. And I'll tell you
100%.
how it works, and I'll give you an example, and I want you to get back on the microphone. But a perfect example is I've got AI taking notes for this podcast. It's going to break down all the high points whenever we're done. I have AI taking notes for every conversation we have, because whenever you're doing 4 hours of phone calls and you're doing 4 hours of video chats every day, they all start to run together, and you may need to go back and revisit that. And sometimes you just need that condensed version that gets down to the meat and potatoes of what are my call to actions? What was I supposed to do on this? Oh yeah, that's right. Check it out. It says I'm supposed to get them a proposal. I forgot all about that. Boom. You get a proposal over to them, whatever it looks like.
Get ready for a sales revolution. Introducing Making Sales Simple, a complete online training course that unleashes the power of sales mastery, anytime, anywhere, on any device. Designed to transform anyone into a shed-selling success, Making Sales Simple guides you through the entire sales cycle, from the moment a customer steps onto the lot all the way through the crucial art of closing the deal. But that's not all. Our course equips you to expertly handle follow-ups, how to advertise your lot on social media, and supercharge your sales like never before. Enroll your sales team in the game-changing Making Sales Simple training course and witness a remarkable boost in sales right on the lot. Do you have a large team of salespeople? Manage and monitor each one through the sleek admin panel. Track their progress, dive into quiz results, and ensure they're not just learning, but mastering their newfound sales skills in real-world scenarios. Join our happy customers and witness your shed lots transform into thriving hubs. Sign up your entire team today. Unlock big savings with the code SGSAVE, because your team's success deserves nothing less.
AI is being used in the podcast. Not so much in the way that you would think as in the conversation, but there's a transcript actually being recorded as we speak right now, which is available to the public. If you go to that transcript and you want to read it over as opposed to listening to it, it's boom, it's like a magazine now, right? Because you could go read it. The AI generates a better show topic than I can. As savvy as I think I am, Mo, at the end of this, I could say, sales ask, blah, 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 and think I've created this beautiful title. But instead, it'll give me 5 options to choose from when we're done here. And I promise you, it will always give me a better option than I can come up with my own. And I'm like, that's it. The summary of today's show is written by AI. And maybe one of my most favorite moments is whenever one of the Amish listeners called in and said, we do get your emails. And I started looking at your summary on this week, who was on the show this week or this Wednesday or Monday or Friday or whatever it was. And I don't know what you've done to your writing style, but you've really improved it, because I used to really enjoy listening to your summary and reading your summary, because I could tell that you wrote it out and it seemed kind of savvy. But you've changed your writing style to where every one of them make me want to go listen to every episode now. And I had to admit, that's not me. That's AI generating a better summary of today's conversation that I could come up with on my own. So I want you to get back on the mic. I'm just trying to show examples of like how it does not necessarily replace jobs, or always. It doesn't always replace the authenticity of communication in a more natural setting. It just benefits what you're already doing.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that. It's an amplifier. The people who basically the bottom quartile, I wouldn't say it wouldn't replace top. It's definitely going to shake up a lot, because the bottom quartile of people, they're going to be out of jobs, to be honest, because you're going to have the people who know how to use AI are going to be so much more productive that you're going to need less people doing the same job. Some of my favorite applications where this is going is there's new voice applications where you can call like customer service line and it'll have a full conversation with you. And it's a high quality, like it's not like a bot. Press 1 for this. It's like, hey Mo, yeah, no problem. Da, 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 da. And it'll even check all your past history as well. Kind of like what we're doing, but voice. Okay. So that's really, really interesting, because you could imagine all the customer service centers out there, 80% of those jobs now are going to be done by AI agents. Okay, that's one of the most interesting applications that I've seen come about. Obviously, marketing is another big one. these personalized follow-ups that you're going to get from AI that will consistently message a client to get them into a meeting with you. And then sales, which is what we're kind of the leaders in right now, which is how do you take the conversation that you had in person and turn that into a high ticket sale, right? A lot of people say, I don't have time to coach, right? They're busy. But the answer to that is like, well, there's two answers. One is you have to inspect what you expect. So if you're expecting your people to sell, you have to inspect that. Like you got to make sure that that's happening. And are you not already spending time checking in with reps to see how this lead's going, what's going on, what do your numbers look like? So it would be wise to use a tool that lets you do a much better job of that. I mean, what we do is we surface the right meetings that need a coach's attention so they aren't wasting time. And it leads to better relationships, I find, when you're able to give the specific coaching instead of the general coaching. You can do better one-on-ones. You can have better talking points with your reps. You get more respect from them because you understand what they're going through a lot better, which leads to more confidence, which gives you better leadership abilities as well. So these are some of the things like when people say like I don't have time to coach, like look, I don't have time to coach either. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm in that boat too. I like to use the insights and the AI coach myself to figure out where to put my attention. And one of the main things that we get is, oh, the reps, they may not want we got to get the reps buy-ins. They're not gonna want to be recorded, right? That's a common objection that we deal with. But the way we like to explain this is you have a challenge as a manager, as an owner. You're trying to grow the company. So you got to explain the challenge you face as a coach manager. You're trying to help them, and you can't help your people without visibility. So this is about helping them as a manager do a better job, right? So you associate something like sales ask with the company-wide growth goal, which includes improving sales, improving sales systems, and promoting a culture of coaching in the company. You assign a champion so other can follow that person who uses it well. You get feedback from the team. You use it as a tool for celebration, not necessarily punishment. So you celebrate when someone gets an awesome sale, when they get when they generate, twice the revenue of somebody else, you promote that and you share that conversation around. And, you explain the benefit of the reps. They get notes, action items, sales insights. And then obviously like the very best athletes in the world, they all have coaches. Like you're not going to get a LeBron James or a Kobe Bryant without a Phil Jackson, right? It was literally there. They don't exist without Phil Jackson, who was the coach of the Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers when Jordan and Kobe Bryant, right? So you need that dynamic between your players and the team, and obviously we do a lot to help with that. Like we had the templates for the AI, so it saves you a lot of time. And that's where we're at, man. Like we're in this beautiful place and time where the AI is just good enough now to be useful, and it's only going to get an order of magnitude better.
Managing your rent-to-own contracts just got easier with RTO Smart. Designed by leaders in the rent-to-own storage industry, RTO Smart was handcrafted to enable you with the tools needed to manage your own contracts your way without using a third-party rent-to-own company. RTO Smart is your one-stop shop, allowing you to generate contracts and manage customer accounts from start to finish while maintaining simplicity and flexibility. Call us today at 316-618-9396 or visit our website at rtosmart.com to schedule a live demo and discover why RTO Smart may be right for your business.
What we are seeing right now, even from 6 months ago, even from like 6 weeks ago, it's just so much better. There's never been any technology that's improving at this speed. Why? Because it's mostly software. Like even the phones. Do you remember the old phones that we had?
Oh yeah.
The old iPhones, the first,
Yeah.
the flip phones and the iPhones.
Yeah.
Right now, this is like a magic wand. It's like, how is this even possible? Like it's blows my. I grew up without the internet, right? So I'm a
Mhm.
90s kid. And we had no internet. We had definitely no cell phones. And when I look at this now, I had to go to my friend's house. Like I had to physically go and on my little bicycle and travel across the neighborhood just to see if they're home. Let alone I can text them and get real-time location updates from them, right?
I love what you said
So
early on in the call, though. You said this isn't just like the internet, which is creating availability, or like, what did you say? Like, creating,
reach.
reach. You're actually diving into the consciousness of, kind of the mentality of people, the way we think, the way we communicate. I mean, the root of communicate is community. I mean, that's something we identify with all of our listeners. I think about my Amish listeners and, how they talk about community. And I'm like, that's what everyone wants. They want high levels of communication. Uh, and they want to be able to build community both locally and uh, regionally and through their state and through their country and really through the world. Because with these things, you don't just it's not just like riding down the road on your bicycle to find your friend. Now you can actually text, call, email, video chat someone that's your friend across the country, across the world. I was on a phone call this morning uh, through video with someone in another country just because it was convenient for us to line up our schedules and be able to chat. How else would you do
Wasn't
that?
even available a decade ago, right? Like a decade
Right.
ago, we had dial-up when the internet
Yeah.
for dial-up, you'd have to wait like 4 minutes to load an image, like a single image, right? And then
Yeah.
now you have like real-time fiber that just gives you this 4K definition in real time, right? So can you imagine where the AI is going to be in 10 years, in 20 years?
I can't. And I think people, especially in our industry, are maybe even a bit skeptical. I think especially the more conservative personalities are skeptical about certain things, and it can be a challenge to overcome that because there's education that has to happen first because they'll either be convinced on their own or they'll become convinced eventually by default. They'll have to. It's you have to begin to learn.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose market share. They're going to lose to the people that are leveraging these technologies. It's the same thing that happened with the internet. The companies like the Barnes and Nobles who disregarded Amazon, they lost, right? Because they missed the internet, they missed social
Yeah.
media, right? And it took them a very long time. They could have owned the whole world, but they missed on that. So what's going to happen here is the companies that are going to pick this technology up and implement it, okay, to solve the specific business problems, they're going to get 10 times leverage. And what is 10 times leverage? It doesn't look like anything in 3 months, but it looks like a lot in 3 years, right? Like you
Yeah.
could imagine if you could do 10 times more in 3 months, it's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. This company, they got like one sale from us. It's not a big deal. But then in 3 years, it's just like, oh my God, they've like quadrupled their size. They're like, they're making all this revenue. They've got all these like we're losing to them when they were like a fly on the wall to us, years ago. So you must adapt to the latest technology. It's never, you can't name me a single company that has not adapted and succeeded. It just doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, we're at this place where creating the digital storefront doesn't have anything to do with our convictions as much as it does to do with where the shopper is choosing to go. And I like to say quite often that like the shopper does not create a concession for the shed industry. As much as we want them to, they do not create any concessions. They go online for market research. They prefer to talk to people less in most situations because they want to understand how to buy it. And they will pull the trigger on even a larger ticket item unseen if you can manage to walk them through the entire sales process. Now, with that being said, what we seem to experience with most of our brick and mortar locations, in my opinion, is they start out with learning about who you are by just doing some simple market research. Maybe they find you through your website. Maybe they find you through ShedHub. Maybe they find you through a review, through friends or neighbors or whatever it is. But one thing's for sure, they're going to use particular keywords to put into Google and search you, right? Like whether they know the name of your company or, I don't know, sheds near me. Maybe they're going to take a look at something like that, and they're going to find someone that's going to be ranking, that's going to be indexed, or they're going to find someone who's sponsored, who's running ads. They're going to find someone who's using some kind of particular app or technology, but they're there. And then they're going to find out all that they can because they're going to start making judgment calls based off of that. How Google sees you is often how they see you. So that's why everybody's searching for the answers to SEO, right? And searching to be indexed. That way they can be the suggested retail location in their profession. And then a lot of times if they don't buy there, they know you already. That's why video is so important, Mo. We push video constantly. Video content's great because there's nothing friendlier than you having good, fun,
You know what's happening with
recognizable.
video, eh? You know what's going on with
Tell
that
me.
right now? I'm
Tell me.
excited. He's super excited. I don't like being in front of a camera personally. I mean, I don't mind it, but I don't want to be trapped. Look, building a brand is very important, and you see this all the time. Guys that just blow up because they create all this video content. But I don't want to be an actor. Okay, it's just
Yeah.
this is not what I want to do. But I do know the importance of this. So there's some new AIs right now that will take your image and you can now create video content in your image. So that means you can just write a script and the AI, which is you, it's going to look exactly like you, if that's what you want, or another person, will be able to create video content indistinguishable from what you can create with just you typing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's amazing. And that's, to me, the reason that's so important is because if that consumer decides, I'm old school, I want to show up on the lot, I want to talk to somebody, they've already probably spent a certain amount of time, depending on how much you've been able to captivate them, on knowing you. They show up and they feel like, I mean, that's a warm lead as opposed to them just showing up on your lot. They've watched Mo. They know that he wears his sales ask hat. You know what I mean? They know that, he's got a beard. They know that he's a fun guy. He's got a cool personality. They're going to feel to some extent like they know you, or even if it's just the most minute. I think I saw you on some of the videos I looked up. I think you're the sales guy. Even if it's that, it's created rapport that you can't create
Exactly.
without that. So yeah, I mean, whether it's done, organically or through AI, it's just so important to have the folks who are putting in that work and creating that digital storefront and creating that brand. They are going to be the leaders tomorrow. They are going to be the ones who are, like you said, taking market share. And that's because it's the consumer driving that model. It doesn't even mean you have to want to do it. The consumer is driving that model. And in a post-COVID era, it's just, that moved our technology ahead. I don't know how many years in advance, because we had to be at home and we had to be seeking out resolution and ways to communicate. And wouldn't it have been good to have stock in Zoom or something like that during the time where we had to all be home?
Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime.
Mo, how do people find out more about you? You're getting around to the shed industry, but we want to do our part to get people to pick up the phone. It's not good enough for them to just listen to the podcast and say, seems like a nice guy, sounds like a cool program. How do they get a hold of you? Where do we get them to go to the phone?
I mean, if everybody wants to learn, look, it makes sense for a lot of businesses to implement something like Sales House, and it's super, super affordable. To reach us, honestly, like you can just send me an email, mo@salesask.com. I'll be happy to help you out. You can go to salesask.com as well. You can book a demo with myself or one of our teammates, and we're happy to show you the product, see if it's a fit. Like, the demo is not very long and it could completely change the trajectory of your business. At worst case scenario, you're going to learn about AI, and if it's a fit for your business, right? That's kind of your worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you get this game-changing technology that's going to put you ahead of everyone else, right? And solve the specific problems of, why am I losing revenue? Why am I missing targets? How do I hit my growth targets? And getting that visibility. Why do my reps have different close rates that you're looking for as an owner or a sales manager? So website, my personal email, either one works. And we'll get, we're pretty quick. Our service is really important to us. So we provide next level service for anybody that's part of the Shed Geek community.
Well, and we'll make sure to put some links. So for those of you who don't sign up for the newsletter, I'd encourage you to go to our newsletter. We send them out every time there's an episode that comes out live, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, typically. And we'll make sure to put not only the link to today's episode to the website where you can go fill out a lead form and get in contact with them for a demo. But maybe after the end of this call, I'll work Mo for some more details and see if we can keep him and his company in front of you more often. And if not, make sure you still sign up anyway. I totally endorse these guys. It sounds like what they're doing is really awesome. Mo, do you have any questions for me? One unique thing that you may not listen to the podcast, but one unique thing I like to do at the end of the call is let you turn the microphone back around and ask questions, or a question, whatever it is that you just have on your mind. I always like to try to open it and answer it in full transparency, whether it's podcast related, shed related, it really doesn't matter. I spend a lot of time grilling you or asking you questions about your business. What questions, if any, would you have?
I think we answered a lot of the questions, but I mean, what's interesting to me is also, have you seen this new podcast format where you give it like a paper or like an article that you wrote up, a blog, and it'll create a podcast from that? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen some AI stuff. Jason Graber actually put something out, the owner of Shed Suite. He put out like this, I don't know, it was maybe like a 12-minute AI generated podcast. And I find that it's interesting. You know what I mean? Because I always wonder where like artificial intelligence, like the more nuanced questions of it, like it's artificial intelligence, but it's basically the bots are going and pulling the best resources of information basically from someplace. So, like we have one of the only podcasts kind of catered specifically to the shed industry. So I always wonder if I was to create an AI podcast about myself, would it kind of glean from the 270 episodes we have out there? Are the bots crawling that information to help create some artificial intelligence?
Whatever you put in, it can learn from, and then it'll regurgitate that essentially.
Yeah, I have seen that, and I'm torn between, do I begin to go that route? The cool thing about our industry, I like to think, whether I'm right or wrong on this, I like to think I understand our market segment and I understand the personality of the industry because I've spent so much time, 30 states, probably visited 600 shed lots, 300 shed manufacturers. I bet we've really been out there communicating, and we spend a lot of time networking through the phone, through video and different things. And there is a level of person to person that you get that's really hard to replace. But at the same time, it's really about input with data. This isn't replacing the personal relationship to me with AI as much as it is enhancing what it is that you do and already know. All technology, just like anything else in the world, can be used disruptively and for bad purposes. But typically speaking, I think it's amazing what you can also use technology for good. And I would hate to dismiss all of the good that can be had through it because of the skepticism in the more conservative circles that of industries like ours. I get it. I do. I totally get it. But at the same time, man, when it writes my bio and it sounds way better than me, like even if I spend an hour doing it, I can't create the combination of words that they can based off the assessment of the podcast interview to be able to come up with a better bio than they can. It's really, really amazing some of the stuff that it comes up with. And to the point where, Mo, sometimes you even say, that's what I wanted to say. I just couldn't get it out. If I could say it, that's what I would want to say. And I can't help but think that's what's going to happen with these AI coaches. There's just going to be times where even your best coach is going to say, wow, that was really good. I didn't think of that.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah. Great stuff. Hey, I'm gonna shut the recording off. I thank you for being here. Give me just a few minutes. I'll chat with you after, but I can't say thank you enough. Can't endorse people reaching out to you enough. I sure hope it's a super successful adventure. And you're welcome back anytime. I love what you guys are doing.
I appreciate you, man. You take care.
You got it. Thanks, Mo.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford here at the Union Grove Lumber Studios, and we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.